The fundamental arrangement of the shoulder and the waistline darts in the basic bodies may be changed in various ways for both functional and design purpose. When the body is shaped with a single dart above or below the bust line, the crosswise grain will not be straight at the bust level, and the dart will be quite deep. When fullness is divided above and below the bust line, balanced grain will result and the darts will be more shallow. All the dart arrangements that follow may be used alone or in combination. In any case, darts will always radiate from the apex. Many of the darts described later may be centered on the bias grain, and care must be taken not to stretch the muslin as they are draped. Smoothen the muslin only in the direction of the grain will prevent stretching and will assure the accuracy of the pattern when it is completed. Adequate ease should be maintained throughout draping process. In the basic bodies, we arrange the shoulder dart and the waist dart. At the back, shoulder dart and the waist. But in the daily life, we could notice there is different combine, like neckline dart and waist dart, or we just see a waist dart. So now I would like to continue to discuss the variation of the dart. So this variation of the basic bodies has the shoulder dart shifted to the underarm. It is a useful dart arrangement when a fitted body is designed with the shoulder and neckline area free for some sort of design features. Before we drape, we need to prepare the muslin. It's exactly the same like the basic bodies. Now my muslin is ready. You see, there is 3 lengthwise lines to indicate the center front, apex lengthwise, and the T-line. 1 crosswise line indicates the bust level line. So first, we fold the 1-inch extension back at the center front. Pin the apex at the apex of the form. Okay, use 2 pins to pin from opposite direction to fix the point. Prevent the muslin sagging. And then we pin the chest at the center front. And pin the side seam at the bust level line. And now it should look like a box. The muslin should look like a box on the form. We check the muslin grain is correct. We could pin the tummy at the center front and pin the center front at the waist. Okay. There is ease at the bust level line, so we need to establish the ease at the bust level evenly. It's the same as the basic bodies. Then straight down along the T-line and fix the T-line at the waist. Creep in from the bottom edge of the muslin along the T-line. Creep in till to the half to the waistline. Okay? And then pin the side seam at the waist. you can notice there is a little east, a pitch of east here at the west. And crease the apex lengthwise and pin the axis fabric at the west. Okay, it's west dot. At the basic bodies, we pin the bottom armhole and the shoulder point, and we pin neckline so we could find the axis fabric at the shoulder, and pitch up the axis fabric, it comes to a shoulder dot. And now we do the variation. We don't set the dot at the shoulder. We only set the dot and arm. So we drape the neckline first. So we smooth up the muslin along the center front and pin the center front at the neckline. And then cut 1 inch rectangular, 1 inch above the neckline and upward to the edge of the muslin. And then creep in, smooth up, creep in, smooth up, creep in, smooth up. There's no stretch, no ease at the neckline. And pin the intersection neckline of shoulder line. And then smooth along the shoulder line, smooth along the shoulder line. Pin the shoulder point, pin the shoulder point. Then smooth down along the armhole ridge, smooth down, there's no stretch. Okay, and pin the bottom of armhole. Bottom of armhole. Okay, so you can notice that there's axis fabric at the side seam. We could set the axis fabric exactly at the bust level line. So we could pin the axis fabric at the bust level. We could place the axis fabric at the side seam. So now you can notice there's no dot at the shoulder part, no dot at this area. But we have dot and armhole at the side seam. So it's combined arm dot and waist dot as a new arrangement. The same to the basic bodies. We need to mark the important point and the line. So we do the cross marker at the neckline and the center front. Dot along the neckline. Cross mark the intersection neckline and shoulder line. Cross mark the shoulder point, shoulder line, and armhole ridge. We also need to mark the plate screw level. Don't forget, screw level. We need to mark it, okay? And then we also need to mark the bottom of armhole. Bottom of armhole. Cross mark the bottom of armhole. Cross mark the dot at the side seam. Cross mark the dot at the side seam. Cross mark the side seam at the west. Dot along the west. Dot along the west. Dot along west. Cross mark the dot at the west. Cross mark the dot at the west. Dot along the west. cross mark the waist at the center front. After we mark the important point and line, we could remove the muslin to the table.